Hello and welcome. My name is Kristina Shelden, and you are joining us for our final Canada Disability Initiative Roundup event. Roundups are fun, hour-long sessions full of art, music, and poetry. They're a celebration of people with disabilities that showcases the incredible talent pool within the disabled community, and that given the opportunity, we can achieve anything. This may be our final roundup, but we're working on an exciting new format to spotlight artists in the new year, so stick around for that. I'll be going over our accessibility components and agenda for today. Je suis désolée, mais je ne parle pas français. So to help, our meeting today features simultaneous English and French translation, also LSQ and ASL interpretation, and English and French captioning. Please take a moment to adjust your settings as appropriate. First, please select your preferred language, English or French. You do this by selecting the interpretation option on your Zoom menu. Once you select this option, you will not need to change your language settings again during the presentation. You must select a language, even if you want to hear this presentation in English. If you are using a mobile device, such as a phone or tablet, you can find language interpretation options under More. For those who require ASL or LSQ interpretation, we will be spotlighting those components throughout the presentation. We recommend using Zoom's speaker view to view the interpreters and current presenters. If you are using shortcuts, you can press Alt F1 on your computer to switch between these views. If you are using a Mac, you can do this by pressing Command Shift W. To enable captions, select the Captions options on your Zoom menu. If you would like to adjust the size and placement of these captions, you will need to go into your Zoom accessibility settings. If we can support you through this presentation, please leave a comment in the chat box and someone will assist you. This presentation will feature pieces from individuals with disabilities from across Canada. Whilst we would love to hear your feedback verbally, there are too many of us here today to hear from everyone individually. Therefore, we ask that you use non-verbal reactions to show your appreciation for our presenters. This includes using the reactions option on your Zoom menu, comments in the chat box, and hand waving. If you have your camera turned on, and hand waving if you have your camera turned on. For those participants who do have their now I'm all stumbly. For those participants who have their camera on, we may also take the opportunity to spotlight individuals between presenters. Please note that out of respect to our artists and those who use screen readers, we will be turning off the chat box during each performance. We want our artists to focus and for everyone to enjoy the performance uninterrupted. To summarize our accessibility options, please select your language using the interpretation option. Select speaker view. Enable captions if required. And finally, make sure to give us your thoughts in the chat box or on screen. Our team members are on hand to help you with any technical difficulties you may be experiencing. As a woman with Dene ancestry from Lutselk'e up north, which is in the Northwest Territories, I wanted to acknowledge that I am speaking to you from the unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, and Musqueam nations. Territorial acknowledgements are just a small part we can play in enacting decolonization in Canada. My pronouns are she, her. I have long brown hair and brown eyes, and owing to my native ancestry mixed with some German and French and maybe some other things, I have an exotic look that often confuses people about my nationality. Today, we are joined by Susan and Lindsay Powell from Powell School of Dance, a family-owned, multidisciplined dance school that also offers children with special needs dance therapy classes. We will also meet Brenda Baker and Drake Dixon. Brenda is the founding director of Kids of Note, which is an all-abilities choir in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and Drake is a singer and performer who has been with Kids of Note since he was very young. To start us off today, let's welcome the mother-daughter team from Powell School of Dance, Susan and Lindsay Powell. Hello and welcome. Thank you both for joining us.
Hi. Hi. Hi
Thank you,
there. Hi,
Kristina.
Kristina. Thank you so much.
We're
Hi.
looking forward to learning more about your school and programs. I understand you have prepared a presentation for us, so I will just hand the dance floor over to you.
Nice. That was a great metaphor. Thank you so much. Miss Susan and I are so happy to be here today. And you'll notice that I address her as Miss Susan, even though she is technically my mom. But when we're at the dance studio, we all address each other as Miss Lindsay and Miss Susan, et cetera, et cetera. So she and I are both here today, and we're very, very excited to be representing Powell School of Dance and the Ballerina Dreams and dance therapy programs that we offer in Cornwall, Ontario. So I'll just take a moment and I'm going to share my screen. I just want to make sure that everybody can see that, and I'll just go ahead and also make it bigger. There we go. Okay, perfect. So thank you so much, everyone, for the invitation to have us here today. We're very excited to be here. We truly believe in the accessibility of programs such as the one that we offer at our studio, and we hope that being able to bring awareness to this kind of a program at our dance studio, that maybe it hopes to also spread awareness across the country and beyond for other dance studios that can offer the same thing. As mentioned before, my name is Lindsay Powell, and I'm one of the co-owners and teachers at Powell School of Dance, referred to normally as PSOD. We're located in Cornwall, Ontario. However, we are originally from Montreal, Quebec, and so that's where our initial roots are from in terms of our dance education. Miss Susan is with me here today. She's our artistic director, our fearless leader, and she's also a co-owner and teacher. It's actually the four of us, myself, my mom, Miss Susan, as well as my two sisters, Miss Hillary and Miss Ainsley, and it's the four of us that have our family-run business since 2004, 18 years ago. And in 2011, we were presented with a very unique opportunity, and that was how we began our adventure of providing a special needs program at our dance studio. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time now to explain that. I also have some videos and some photos that I'm very excited to share with you all today. In 2007, we had a family join our school with a special needs daughter. Her parents, who actually are also doctors in the community, approached us about teaching their daughter one-on-one. And prior to that point, our school didn't have any experience with offering a special needs program, and it really was the first of its kind in Cornwall and the surrounding areas. And through that first experience, we really sort of built the framework for how we would be able to make a program like this accessible, not just to the one student that we started with all those years ago, but to sort of turn it into a bigger project and make it accessible to the whole community of Cornwall. This one student, this one little girl, she was about 3 or 4 at the time, and she was barely walking. She was nonverbal, didn't have any language acquisition at the time. So everything was sort of done with very basic signs. Her parents taught me some of the signs that she knew at that time, and that was how I started to develop a rapport with her and be able to teach her how to dance, but also there was a language there, and she also was introduced to music at the same time, to a class structure. So we really sort of, her and I both, I like to think of it as I taught her how to dance, but she also taught me a lot as well through that experience. And so what I want to do now is actually just take an opportunity. I'm just going to show a snippet of her very first performance at our show all those years ago. And then I'll show you sort of a clip of her now recently, and you'll sort of see the difference in her confidence level from all those years ago to where she is now, which is so exciting to watch. So I'll just take a moment to share my screen here. And this is from our show back in 2008. And this was her taking the stage for the very first time. You'll notice when she comes onto the stage, so you see just how tiny she is and how tall I am comparably. So when the camera pans out, you'll notice that now I'm just sort of a half body, but really the importance is her on the stage. And she sort of was signing there. Her parents told me later on, she was signing that she was noticing the lights on stage. And that was something new that she had never experienced before. So she was very excited about that. The other thing you'll notice sort of just as you're watching her is that very rarely does she ever look up to me. She knows her choreography. She had it memorized. She knew her music. She was excited about her costume. And so you'll see at the end of the performance that she does get a standing ovation, which was very, very exciting for her as well as for her parents. So that was her. I still get like choked up as I watch it. It was such a beautiful moment. It's been a while since I've watched that actually, so that was pretty cool.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Wow. Okay. Sorry about that. So what I want to show now is a video of this young dancer all these years later. That was, like I mentioned, her very, very first performance on stage at our show. And this is now her today doing a hip hop solo. You'll notice she's by herself on the stage. She knows her whole choreography. She's totally self-sufficient. And this is after years and years and years of her coming to her dance classes, following in the structure of our school. She was one of our students that we started teaching privately, and then eventually we integrated her into our regular stream classes. First with a volunteer in the class, sort of assisting her along the way as she went. And then as she got older, she started in school and she really started to develop her skills. She was able to be completely self-sufficient within our classroom setting. And so this is this young lady today doing her hip hop solo. Hip hop is one of her favorite styles. And so you can really see the focus on her face. She's thinking about her routine. She dances with confidence now. And for us as a school, our main sort of goal in offering these special needs classes is being able to provide these opportunities to anyone who walks through our doors. That's our main goal in all of this. Whoever you are and whatever your needs are, we have a place for you at Powell School of Dance. Oh. Oh, that's weird. There we go. Nope. Whoops, sorry about that.
Good technology.
Yes. There we go. So that was actually from, yes, thank you, thank you. So that was actually from our virtual show last year. And so I just wanted to sort of show the comparable between where that young lady was sort of at the start of her journey in our school to where she is now. And that all of that sort of came out of her parents just approaching us all those years ago and asking us, would we be willing to teach teach their daughter. So it's pretty incredible to kind of look at that and say we really, sort of had the opportunity to watch her grow over all these years, which is fantastic. And so out of that came the birth of what we now call our Ballerina Dreams program. With that success of those private lessons for this one particular dancer, we created a program actually with the collaboration of this dancer's parents. They were very, very involved at the beginning of the Ballerina Dreams program. And we wanted to create accessibility for these kinds of classes for everyone in the community of Cornwall and beyond. And so there's a center in Cornwall called the Ottawa Children's Treatment Center Cornwall site. And in January of 2011, we had 6 children that were referred to us by the physiotherapist at OCTC. And it was the physiotherapist's recommendation that in bringing on those 6 children to form our very first Ballerina Dreams class, that each child have a shadow in the class with them so that that shadow can greet them at the door when they come to the studio, shadow them throughout the class so that their needs are met, and then be with them until the very end when their parents are picking them up after the class. And so that really built the framework for what is now our Ballerina Dreams program. And so this is a photo of that original class. You'll notice that the dancers have, the beautiful costume. We're sort of thinking in terms of Ballerina Dreams, the dream of being a ballerina, a dancer. And then we put our volunteers in sort of a darker color so that it's really the children that shine in that kind of an environment. So that was our very first class. And through that Ballerina Dreams program being inaugurated all those years ago, sort of also came the birth of our volunteer program. And because of our volunteer program, we've had students that have joined the volunteer program, stayed in that program, shadowing many different children over the years, meeting lots of different families, really becoming an integral part of the success of the program, to the point that we've had volunteers go into developmental service programs in college and university, go into teaching. And so they take what it is that they've learned being a volunteer in that program, and they've turned it into a career for themselves, which is sort of a side effect, if you will, that we never even sort of thought about all those years ago when we created this program that has now come to be. So there's so many benefits to our volunteers being so important to that program, that now we sort of really just get to watch the program be a well-oiled machine within the school. And it's not just children through the OCTC center anymore that are referred. We do still have children that come from there, but it really has opened up to the whole community. Anybody who has a child or an adult in their family with special needs can join our school, and we have a place for them. And so on that note, just talking about our special needs programming today, like I mentioned, we have special needs classes for children, but we've also in more recent years started also offering classes for adults with special needs, because oftentimes it's very easy to sort of think, oh, okay, once they get to age 18, we followed them all those years, but we also wanted to create a place for adults with special needs where they could come and express themselves as well. And that has sort of been a new venture within our school that has come in more recent years. And we've had some very, very dedicated adults in our special needs classes come and just be able to creatively express themselves, learn choreography, perform in our shows at the end of the year. And it's really, for all intents and purposes, a very special moment at the end of the season, being able to see them all up on stage. And so this is just a few examples of some of our special needs classes. We do offer group classes. So what we try to do is pair children together that have similar or same ability, and then we can really create classes that will fit those needs. In some cases, maybe a group setting is not necessarily the most appropriate place for those children. So we'll provide them a one-on-one private lesson with the eventual hope that they can be integrated into a group class, or they continue with their one-on-one lessons and they really are able to thrive in that one-to-one attention setting. And sometimes that is better in that case. This is another example of one of our classes. We really like to be creative with the costuming because we want them to feel proud of what it is that they're going up on stage and performing. So in this case, we did do a Frozen theme, and I was very proud to be Olaf that year. And this is another example. So we do have boys that have joined our school over the years, and we really do try to be respectful of their costuming as well. We want to make sure that the girls feel comfortable and that the boys feel comfortable in what they wear as well. And so just before we go, I would just like to share one more video with you all. So at the beginning of the presentation, I had shared a video of that young dancer who sort of started this whole venture for us within our school. And I just wanted to take some time to show you one of our Ballerina Dreams classes that performed at our virtual recital last December 2020. So I'll just finish off with that. Just give me one moment here. There we go. So this is one of our Ballerina Dreams classes, dancing to Mary Poppins. And I'll just note while they're dancing, so as you can see, some of our volunteers are in those face visors. That's as a result of the times that we're currently living in. But what we like to do with the costuming is really make sure we've had children over the years that may have sensory issues or may have a sensitivity to certain types of materials. So we are very sensitive to the costumes that we choose. We want to make sure that there's not a lot of embellishment on it, but it's still a beautiful costume that fits them well, that they feel comfortable in, with not too many distractions, so that they can really focus on their performance with their volunteer by their side and be proud and confident in what they're doing. And so just as they're dancing here, I'll just mention that we do offer classes in various disciplines. So I did showcase a ballet routine at the beginning, and then that young dancer, I also showcased her hip hop solo. This is a tap routine. We really try to choose disciplines of dance that we know will fit the needs of the children and what they're most interested in, so that they really feel like they are living that dream of being not just a ballerina, but a dancer, a full-fledged dancer. Yay! So that's just one example of, thank you. That's just one example of one of our Ballerina Dreams classes. And so I'll just finish off now. I just wanted to finish off by showing one of our group classes, just so that you all have an opportunity to see what we can offer in a group setting as well as in an individual setting. And so just to finish off, the presentation now. I just want to finish off by saying that we would like to thank Disability Without Poverty and also our contact, Amanda Lockage, for inviting Powell School of Dance to present today. We are very honored to be part of this community, and we really do feel strongly that accessibility is the key to ensuring that all children and adults have the opportunity to express themselves creatively, passionately, in a safe environment that they can really identify with. If someone you know is interested in our programs, you can visit our website, and I look forward to being able to watch the rest of the presentations, and thank you all so much for having us here today.
Wow, that's fantastic, Lindsay. Thank you so much. That was an excellent presentation and answered basically any question that I had. That's great. I especially love, I think that that you mentioned that some of the able-bodied dancers were so inspired by this that they've moved on to careers that then help other people with disabilities going forward. I think that is absolutely fantastic because it's so well-rounded, and so it's not only helping these children and giving them an opportunity to dance on stage and express themselves, and as an artist myself, that is invaluable.
Mm-hmm.
It is a
Absolutely.
wonderful experience, but that it also inspired people to get into the industry to help more people. That's pretty amazing. So
Thank
yeah,
you.
thank
Thank
you
you. I
guys for
know.
doing what you do.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know it's one of those benefits that we never even sort of saw coming along the years, and then it just sort of started happening, and we were really, really, really touched by all of it. So thank you.
Don't
Thank
you
you so
love
much.
that when that happens? You're like, oh,
Yeah,
yay. Didn't
that's
mean for it,
it.
but happy that it happened.
Exactly.
That's great. I don't know, Susan, if you had anything that you wanted to mention as well about your programs.
Well, just along the lines of what Lindsay was just explaining about how some of the girls have gone on to receive their education. One of the girls in particular had grown up in the school. She was with us from the time that she was about 4 years old, went away to college, came back about 3 years later, Lindsay, 4 years,
Yes, that's right.
and is now teaching some of the Ballerina Dreams programs or classes. So that's been very, very, very inspiring for us.
Yeah.
You know, that we inspired her in that way. So we're very proud of her. We're very, very proud of her.
No kidding. It
Yeah,
must be very fulfilling
it
to know
is.
that,
It is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that something that you've done is truly making a real difference in a real
Yeah.
actionable way.
Yeah.
So that's wonderful. Well, thank you guys both so much for joining us today, letting us know about your school, and hopefully inspiring other people to maybe develop other schools elsewhere.
Well, yes, there is it's a dance organization that we are members of. It's a professional dance teachers organization based out of Toronto. And recently, Lindsay has presented very similarly to what you saw today for dance studio owners across the country. So to inspire them to implement a program, inaugurate a program such as this in their school.
That's
so
great.
Yeah, so were it not for the pandemic, there'd be a lot of schools that would have gotten started with it 2 years ago.
Yeah.
They've had to put their plans on hold, understandably, but this is definitely something that is growing, and the awareness is growing, which we think is wonderful. This is what we're trying to do. And yeah,
sometimes it's all you need is an idea. All you need is
yeah,
proof that it can be done, and
yeah,
then you're like, oh, then I think I might be able to get going on that
yeah,
myself. I also love too. I have to admit that you've included adults now,
yeah.
because
Actually, I myself and one of the other teachers, one of my other daughters, Miss Hillary, teaches a young woman, I think she's 21 or 22, but she's been dancing since she was about 16. Am I right about that, Lindsay?
Yes, yes.
And I have been teaching a young boy who started with me 3 years ago at the age of 20. So he's now 23 and very consistently takes his classes week after week. And in his interest is in classical ballet, and which is of course my background. So I have been working with him for 3 years, and he's very conscientious and very hardworking and very focused when he takes his classes. And actually, a year ago, I convinced him to expand his program to include jazz, because there is ballet and jazz do complement each other. So I wanted him to have that insight into the two different disciplines. And finally, I've been able to convince him that we're quite certain that we'll be able to do an in-person show or an in-person production in June of 2022. And so I've been able to convince him that I want him to perform in the show.
Fantastic.
And so we'll start working with him in January, putting together choreography, and so that he'll be ready to perform in June.
Well, looking forward to it. And I know that we have your information in the chat box. Please check out their websites, make sure to follow. And well, we look forward to those future presentations. So thank you again very much for coming in today. We really appreciate
Our pleasure.
Your your what you do.
Thank
so
you.
we'd love to bring in Brenda Baker and Drake Dixon from Kids of Note. Hello and welcome to both of you. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to see you.
Hello.
It's nice to be here.
Yeah. Brenda, if I might start with you, could you tell me a little bit about Kids of Note? What is it?
Sure. Kids of Note is an all abilities choir in Saskatoon, and we've been going for some 17 years now. We have an older choir we developed 4 years into our programming called the Notations. And Drake, my partner in crime today, Drake has been in both Kids of Note and the Notations. So I was wondering if maybe you'd ask him a few questions, partly because he has to get to work by 3 o'clock. So if you don't mind asking him about his career in our choirs, then he'll be able to go, and I can give you a little bit more information and lead into O Canada after that, if that's okay.
Not a problem at all. Okay, Drake. Well, it's nice to have you here, and we'll definitely move to you to make sure that you are able to say a little bit before you have to go to work. gotta make that money, right? Especially in the pandemic.
Yep.
So may I ask when you realized that you enjoyed singing?
Well, it's sort of been something I've been doing since like very early on, and I guess it's just something that I've gained more and more of a enjoyment for over time. Like with Kids of Note and with other classes that I've been joining over the years, mainly school.
Yeah. So just started singing one day and went, I like this.
Yeah. Talent shows, concerts, all of that.
I love that. That's very similar to me. I was a little girl when I started singing, and it was just something about it felt right. And so I just kept singing. Do you prefer singing alone or in a group?
Personally, I'm fine with both. I might prefer singing alone, just like maybe to gain a little more spotlight or something.
I hear ya.
He's a diva.
I've done so many solos anyways.
He's definitely one of our most talented performers, and he's at school also. There's a jazz band at his high school that he used to go to, and he would sing the jazz music with them, be one of their soloists. Like he's done some really great stuff.
That's fantastic. That's funny. It's actually very similar to my history early on, as I also was in a jazz band and was able to sing some jazz tunes. Isn't jazz wonderful? Do you love singing jazz? It's just
Oh yeah, totally.
the best. um, and what do you love most about singing?
Well, like I said before, it's just something that I've gained a really big enjoyment for since I've been doing it since elementary. Like, it's just one of the things that I'm most good at or something.
Yeah, really like speaks to your soul.
Yeah.
And may I ask, are there any favorite performances that you've done that you can share with us?
Well, not actually share, but I can at least tell you about.
That's
As I've mentioned, I've done a few talent shows in elementary. Probably some of my jazz performances are probably some of the best ones I've been performing at. Like, if it wasn't at concerts at like jazz places or anything like that, it's a few online things I've needed to send in for, and then it's like an assignment.
Assignment for school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's awesome. I guess also because of the pandemic, you've had to sort of switch to performing.
Yeah, but that was in like the last year of my time of jazz.
Yeah. I understand that you did also get to play an important figure in our history. Does that ring a bell?
It might. Is that about the performance I did a few years ago?
I think the Martin Luther King
Yeah,
did
that's the one I was thinking
an
of.
amazing job of "I Have a Dream," that speech, and
How
we
did it
used it
feel?
as part of the
Oops,
show.
sorry.
Go
Sorry,
ahead.
Brenda, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's fine.
How did it feel to perform that one, Drake?
Pretty good. It felt bold in a sense.
That does make sense. A lot of sense. Well, I really appreciate you taking the time, sharing a bit of your experience with us. Very, very awesome what you do. And yeah, we look forward to seeing future performances from you going forward. With what was it? The notations? Is that the choir with now?
Yes.
Great. And we'll have Brenda explain a little bit more about the notations and the rest of that now. But thank you again. And if you need to rush off to work, we understand completely. I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoy work. Thank you again.
You too.
with us.
Thanks, Drake.
Enjoy the rest of it.
Will do. Thank you.
That's
So,
great, Brenda.
There's one of many reasons right there why I got involved in creating the choirs and kept them going for 17 years. There's so many individuals that I've watched grow up and acquire so much confidence. I could really relate with what was, the thrust of the Powell School, how it got started, why it's still going. I could say similar things about Kids of Note and how it started because of one person. And that person was a girl who was 7 years old when I met her, and she had Down syndrome, and her parents really wanted her to join a choir. She was being homeschooled, so she couldn't be in the school choir. And this is how I came to learn that there really wasn't a place that suited her. And a bit of the backstory to that is the reason I met this girl at all is that in 2003, I gave birth to a baby girl with Down syndrome. And that was my introduction to the disability community in Saskatoon.
Yeah.
And within a couple of years, I met this girl who wanted to sing in a choir and started thinking about it and just realized I had to start it because I was someone who loved to sing. I'm also a performer and a singer-songwriter like you, Kristina. And I couldn't imagine my life without singing in choirs. So we got it started.
That's fantastic, because really all it takes is just that one person who gets the idea, gets inspired and starts it. And it's really wonderful that happened and that you were able to create this whole program all because of that. You mentioned that you're a singer-songwriter, and I believe that you're a creativity and performance coach as well. May I ask a little bit about your background?
Sure. At university, I was doing visual art actually, and I had to take a drama class to get my degree. And I got on stage and got bitten by the performing bug that way. Yeah. And meantime, I'd been writing songs in my basement, as we do when we're starting off, and not sharing them with anybody. And eventually I started sharing my songs and realizing that I wanted to be on stage and I wanted to share my own material. And I had no idea that down the road I would be doing what I'm doing now. But the performance coaching piece of it and creativity coaching came along when I realized there were younger artists who I wish I had mentors in this realm when I had been developing my craft. It would have moved me along a lot faster in getting to the crux of what I wanted to be when I grew up.
True.
Right. And so that's why. Yeah.
I can admit to that as well. Like I've always wished that I had a mentor. I had somebody that, could guide me a little bit, because we have this love for the craft, for music, for songwriting, for singing, and but we don't know what we're doing, especially when it comes to like the business aspect of things. And I can really relate to that a lot. That's really wonderful that you do that as well.
So you sort of feel your way along, don't you? And you just you feel like you're the only person doing this, but there's a lot more infrastructure in the music community here in Saskatoon now, so that's good. And Kids of Note is my way of building an infrastructure for people who generally don't get opportunities because they have some sort of disability. And our choir we called it integrated because we very deliberately make it half children who have intellectual disabilities and half who don't. And the method there is that it normalizes disability.
Love that.
And it also means that the people who are there who don't have disabilities aren't there to help the ones that do. In our case, everybody helps everybody. So the notion is that even if you have a disability, you might be, well, as Drake is, one of the most talented singers, and you might help somebody who doesn't have a disability. It might be not quite as good a singer to, raise up your abilities as a singer. So it really is very much about ensuring that everybody comes to it with their gifts, whatever it is they're able to do. And then we build the show around that. So in one case, as a quick example, I had a nonverbal young man who could only do actions. So we allowed him to start a song. It happened to be one of our Christmas shows, because we do these big concerts Christmas and spring. We pack the house, and he got to start off Go Tell It on the Mountain, and he got up in front of everybody. His family didn't know he was going to be the one starting it off, and he actually started to try and vocalize as he was doing the actions. And there wasn't a dry eye with his family anyway, because they had no idea that he would be able to perform in this way. So
That's beautiful.
We make sure that our shows highlight whatever the strengths are of each individual singer, regardless of what their abilities are.
Yeah, I really love that, especially as you said, the normalization of it. Because I find a lot of times it's not that people are cruel, it's that they just don't have any idea. It's trying to, like, asking somebody to describe the color blue when they're colorblind. If you don't have the experience, then it's difficult for you to be conscientious and understanding, and also just have it not be a big deal, because new things we can't help but stare. It is human nature. So I really actually love that you've done that it is integrated, that it's not segregating them off to the side and making them, that's actually very awesome. And I really, really like that. That's really great. May I ask what the Tori Slade Fund is?
Of course, sure. This is a fund that my husband and I set up in 2008 after our daughter passed away from leukemia. So she was just barely 5. Yeah, thank you. And I am always moved that people still contribute to it from time to time. And I also did some performances to build the fund up, because the annual interest from the fund goes to the notations, not the choir that I direct. I'm always clear to say it's for the other choir that is directed by someone else. And it's just a way of, building up the resources for our program. One day I'm going to retire, and I want the choir to go on. So we're thinking of all sorts of ways that we can build an infrastructure for our choirs that doesn't depend on any one person, that is going to be there regardless, and is going to pay a couple of directors reasonably well to do this work. It's important work to do, and it changes people's perspectives on what it means to have a disability and what it means to be in community with a disability.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that you said, being able to pay somebody, a decent amount is, as much as volunteering is wonderful and amazing and people can commit their time. I've always felt that it's extremely important to make sure that we pay our artists fair wages. And it sounds like you are doing just that at the same time. So that's a really wonderful thing. May I ask, if somebody wanted to contribute to the Tori Slade Fund, how would they do that?
You would simply contact the Saskatoon Community Foundation, because it's part of a much bigger program of giving that the city runs, and that they give out the charitable receipts and so forth. So,
is that something you can do online? I'm sorry, I didn't ask you this
yeah.
before.
Sure. Yeah, no, you can just Google Saskatoon Community Foundation, and there's a place to donate, and you click down to the Tori Slade Fund. And that's
Saskatoon Community Foundation.
That's right.
Okay, so for everyone listening, if you would like to donate,
I didn't come here to pitch today.
I'm sorry, I get it. Well, it's wonderful what you're doing, right? And getting that sort of finances to move things forward is fantastic. And that is part of the reason why we're here today, is to just share things and get our name out. I've done a little bit of self-promotion myself. But no, it's wonderful. And I think that it's an important thing. So if people have that information, all the better if something comes from it. I know that you have a couple videos for us today. I would love to start with O Canada. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Simply that this was our first response to the pandemic. We were thinking we were going to be doing a show, as many people did, in the spring of 2020, and that did not happen. So instead, we decided that we would make this video, and it was the first now of 5 videos that we've made during the pandemic to keep the community together. It doesn't work for every singer to be on video. Not everyone wanted to do it, but most of them did. And this was the first one. We usually have 40 singers, and there was 18, I think, that participated in this one.
Fantastic. This is O Canada by The Note, or the Kids of Note, and Notations, right? No.
That's right, both of them. You could hear us in Cree, English, and French.
I was wondering. That is amazing. You included Cree as well, because I heard the French, but I couldn't recognize the language.
Yeah, at the very, very beginning, I should have set that up so that because you're probably going, what's going on there? I don't understand.
the words I know. That is beautiful, though. I really, really love that you included Cree as well. That's
Yeah.
really great. You guys are fabulous.
Well, you could see the one picture in there when we're all of us together. There's 40 some people, as I said, between the two choirs. And so it's quite an exciting time when we do our shows. It's very moving for a lot of people because especially first timers who don't know what to expect. And when they see that there's all these people with such varying abilities, all performing together equally well, it's just a very, very moving experience.
Yeah, I mean, it must be quite the difference from before to now with the pandemic. It looks like you've pivoted quite well with the videos.
Yeah, I wish all 40 would participate, but they're just like I said, for some of them doing the videos at home wasn't always workable. The one we're going to show you now, that time of year, a few more people participated. There was one we just did for Feliz Navidad, and with that we actually did set up in the church where we meet and had everyone against the same background, because now everyone's getting vaccinated and we could do it safely. That one, though, with certain copyright issues, I wasn't sure if we could show it on here, but the one you're going to see now, we got copyright permission from Disney. So there you go.
Ooh. Before we get there, I wanted to ask a little bit. Sorry, there was something that we're missing that I forgot to ask here. Give me a brain moment.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I wanted to mention there was one person who made these videos possible, and I just wanted to give him a shout out.
Absolutely. Bruce Wilkinson is one of those volunteers that we just, in so many nonprofits, there are key volunteers who, if you didn't have them, you couldn't do what you're doing. And Bruce not only is our sound man for our shows, but during the pandemic, he decided to learn how to create these videos. And so he's made all of them for us for just a small honorarium, just a token. And we're so grateful, because usually when you have a video put together like that, it can cost you thousands of dollars, and we don't have that kind of money. So like many, I'm really thinking again about the Powell School with the volunteer program. We have a number of volunteers in different parts of the choir work that we do who they love being part of this. And I'm sure it's true of the Powell School. It's just, as a volunteer, you look for that thing that just makes your heart sing every time you get involved. And that's what happens with Kids of Note. We really have kind of a waiting list of people who would love to be coming and helping at our rehearsals and so forth. But we can only have so many. And for the sake of the kids too, we have to kind of keep it limited to people they get to know and then trust, in terms of giving a little bit of assistance during a rehearsal.
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Let's get to this last video then. So I think you said that it's a song from Disney?
Yeah, it's from the Frozen series, not the Frozen movie, but the series.
Right, sorry.
That's okay.
So it's not from the movie itself, but from one of the episodes afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's give it a watch.
We hang up boughs of evergreen on every single doorway. Make a giant cookie in the wavy shape of Norway. Go from door to door for sailing with our choir. Hang up all your giant socks above and open fire. That sounds safe. Oh, happy Mary, here's the field, people's concerts too. Thanks for sharing what you do at that time of year. Jolly Mary, happy holly on a midnight clear. I'm here to ask you what you do at that time of year. Hi! Sloan! Happy solstice! Happy chandelier! I'm looking for traditions stuff for that time of year.
Well, we make our decorations out of blossom and jet. So make a yummy fruitcake and you can't wait till you get some. Back one day to me!
okay on Christmas.
Oh, happy Mary's my little faithful cousin cheer. And thanks for sharing what you do at that time of year. And it's us as sisters and we wear our matching pages. Don't forget the candy set I knitted for my kittens. Eight nights in a row we like menorahs on our mantles.
You cut down a tree?
And then you dress its corpse with candles? I love it!
Happy Mary, Merry, holly jolly, happy, happy, jolly, and we'll soon appear. And thankful friends are tiny dear, and Christmas tidings in the beer.
Can I be the fruit here?
That's really fantastic.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can see why your audiences sell out and love this.
Lots and lots of fun. And I just noticed, I wanted to note that, you know, we sing in harmonies and we have a lot of difficult material that we do. My kids, the younger ones, I take it a little easier on them, but Jean, who directed the notations, she presents them with real choral music and they have to learn it, and they learn it in all the parts and everything. And it's just, that's part of what blows people away, is how good everybody sounds. I mean, it's not perfect, there's no doubt about that, but it's amazingly great and energetic, and every last person on the stage is a real performer at heart.
Yeah, giving them the opportunity. As a singer, I've got to say that I love that this program exists. For me, there's no better feeling than singing on stage, and I've always held a firm belief that anyone can sing, given the chance, and more so that they should be given the opportunity to, and you guys are proving it. So thank you very much for having created this program, giving people the opportunities, making it inclusive, and yeah, I definitely hope that this continues on, and maybe hopefully, as we mentioned with the Powell School of Dance, that this perhaps inspires other people in other parts of the country to develop programs similar. So thank you again very much for joining us today.
Well, thank you. And thanks to Jane White, who I know put our name forward as a potential guest for this program. It was really good of you to have us. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you to everyone who has joined us today for this event. I am really I had no idea what this was going to be going into it. And I am personally inspired and feeling pretty amazing about what we just saw. So I hope that you guys visit their websites, check them out, and maybe start your own dance school or choir that is inclusive and helps other people. And my thanks also to the accessibility team and to the tech support team for providing their expertise and making this event possible. Disability Without Poverty has put forward a parliamentary petition that aims to fast track the design and implementation of the Canada Disability Benefit, and to require active and genuine involvement of disabled people every step of the way, from start to finish. The link to this petition will be put into the chat, and if you have not done so, please go to this petition and add your name. We're hoping to get as many signatures as possible before the petition closes on January 11th, 2022. So please share with your networks as well. Obviously, getting these names down is going to make a big difference going forward, so don't delay. On December 3rd, Disability Without Poverty released a video montage of incredible artists in honor of the International Day of People with Disabilities. You can find this video on our YouTube page, Disability Without Poverty, and we'll put the link in the chat as well. Starting in the new year, we will be having artist spotlights featured through Disability Without Poverty instead of these monthly roundups. If you would like to be one of our featured artists, please connect with us at events@disabilitywithoutpoverty.ca. Again, that's events@disabilitywithoutpoverty.ca, and I think that's in the chat as well. And finally, please be sure to shine. Please be sure to shine. Please be sure to sign up to our newsletter for registration and details on our upcoming sessions and how to get involved. Visit our website at www.disabilitywithoutpoverty.ca for more information, and follow our social media accounts and YouTube account for recordings of these presentations. To get in contact with us, please email us at hello@disabilitywithoutpoverty.ca. Thank you again for joining us over these last 7 months to celebrate the contributions of disabled artists and to remember that many of them are living in poverty. Please share, and thanks again for joining. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.